Imagine you're renovating your old house. You knock down a wall, and hidden inside, you find a book. But this isn't just any old book. It's bound in weathered leather, with strange symbols on the cover. And it feels... different. This is exactly what happened to a construction worker named Robert, and what he found has baffled historians and paranormal enthusiasts ever since. The story begins in a centuries-old farmhouse in rural England. Robert was hired to modernize the kitchen. As he tore down a section of drywall between the pantry and the main kitchen, he noticed a small, hollow space. Peeking inside with his flashlight, he saw the spine of a book. Carefully, he pried away the surrounding plaster and wood, revealing a hidden compartment containing a single, handwritten manuscript. The book, later dubbed the Ashwell Grimoire, after the village where it was found, was not a diary or a ledger. Its pages were filled with intricate drawings of celestial charts, detailed illustrations of local plants, and passages written in a mix of Old English and what appeared to be a coded script. But most intriguing were the sections that looked like recipes or instructions. They weren't for cooking. They were for spells. One entry detailed a poultice to mend a broken heart, using herbs like rose petals and lavender. Another described a ritual for a bountiful harvest, involving burying a blessed coin in the corner of a field under a full moon. There were charms for protection, for finding lost items, and even for ensuring a peaceful night's sleep. These weren't dark, sinister incantations. They were practical, folk magic remedies meant to help with the everyday struggles of rural life. Historians who examined the book were fascinated. They dated it to the late 17th century, a time when belief in witchcraft and folk magic was still common, though often practiced in secret to avoid persecution. The book wasn't the work of a powerful sorcerer, they concluded, but likely belonged to a cunning woman or a village healer. This person would have been a trusted member of the community, someone people turned to for help when conventional methods failed. The book's language was a puzzle. Some of the coded script was eventually deciphered and found to be a simple substitution cipher, perhaps to protect the writer's knowledge. The spells themselves were a blend of Christian prayers and older, pre-Christian folk traditions, a common practice at the time. It showed how these ancient beliefs survived by blending in with the dominant religion. So, why was the book hidden in a wall? Experts believe it was likely concealed for safekeeping. The 17th century saw intense witch trials across Europe. Owning such a book could have been a death sentence. The owner probably hid it during a time of panic, intending to retrieve it later. For whatever reason, they never did, and the book remained sealed in its time capsule for over 300 years. Today, the Ashwell Grimoire is preserved in a local museum, a tangible link to a world where magic was a part of daily life. It reminds us that behind the sensationalized stories of witch hunts, there were real people just trying to navigate a difficult world with the knowledge they had. It wasn't about power or evil. It was about healing, protection, and hope. A spellbook found in a wall, offering a quiet glimpse into the secret, magical history of an ordinary English village. What do you think? Would you try one of the spells if you found a book like this? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into history's hidden mysteries. See you next time. Have you ever wished you could see into your future? Just for a moment, to get a glimpse of what's to come. Well, nestled deep in the misty mountains of Scotland, there's a place where legend says you can do just that. It's a small, mysterious body of water known as the Witch's Pond, and its story is as captivating as the landscape surrounding it. Legend has it that centuries ago, this pond was a sacred site for Celtic druids, who believed its waters held prophetic powers. But as times changed, it became associated with witches, who would gather under the full moon. They weren't casting sinister spells, though. Instead, they would gaze into the pond's still dark surface, seeking visions of the future. It was said, the water acted like a liquid crystal ball, reflecting not just the sky above, but the threads of destiny itself. So, how did it work? The ritual was surprisingly simple. A person seeking guidance would approach the pond at dawn or dusk, when the veil between worlds is said to be at its thinnest. They would clear their mind of all distractions, focus on a single question about their future, and then cast a small, smooth stone into the center of the pond. As the ripples spread outward, they were told to stare intently into the water. It wasn't about seeing a clear, movie-like scene. Instead, the visions would appear in the patterns of the ripples, the reflection of the clouds, or the way the light danced on the surface. Some might see a shape resembling a cradle, hinting at a new baby. Others might see the outline of a ship, suggesting a long journey. The interpretations were personal and deeply symbolic. Of course, there was a catch. The pond was believed to show you not what you wanted to see, but what you needed to see. The visions were often cryptic, open to interpretation, and sometimes they revealed challenging paths ahead. The witches believed this was the pond's greatest gift, not to give easy answers, but to prepare you for life's twists and turns, empowering you to face your destiny with courage. Over the years, many travelers have sought out the witch's pond. Some come as skeptics, simply to enjoy the hauntingly beautiful scenery. Others arrive with a hopeful heart, clutching a small stone and a question they're desperate to have answered. There are countless local tales of people who saw visions that later came true in uncanny ways. A farmer who foresaw a bountiful harvest, a young woman who envisioned the face of her future husband, or an artist who saw the inspiration for their greatest masterpiece. Today, the witch's pond remains a place of mystery and wonder. Is it a portal to the future, a trick of the light, or simply a powerful place for self-reflection? Perhaps the magic isn't in the water itself, but in the act of pausing, looking inward, and asking ourselves the important questions. The pond simply provides the perfect mirror. So, if you ever find yourself wandering the Scottish Highlands and stumble upon a quiet, unassuming pond, maybe take a moment. You might not see the future, but you might just find a little bit of clarity. And isn't that a kind of magic all its own? Thanks for joining me on this journey into myth and legend. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the unknown. See you next time. Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it stays with you long after you've heard it? Well, I have one for you today. A tale that comes from a time before our modern world. A story about a young woman named May and a single strand of hair. May was known throughout her village for her beauty, but most of all, for her long, silky black hair. It flowed down her back like a waterfall of midnight ink. She was betrothed to a young man named Liang, a scholar from a neighboring town. Their wedding was fast approaching, and the whole village was buzzing with excitement. One day, while combing her hair by the window, a sudden gust of wind blew a single strand loose. It danced in the air for a moment before floating down and landing on the dusty road below. May didn't think much of it. It was just one strand, after all. A few days later, a traveling merchant passed through the village. He was a peculiar man, with eyes that seemed to see more than most. As he walked down the road, his gaze fell upon the single strand of hair lying in the dust. But what he saw was not just a strand of hair. Tied neatly around its middle was a tiny, almost invisible. Imagine living in a space no bigger than a walk-in closet. Not for a day, not for a week, but for over 60 years. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of a woman who did just that, turning a tiny smokehouse into her lifelong home. This story begins in the early 20th century. Our protagonist, let's call her Alara, was a young woman with a spirit as resilient as they come. Due to family circumstances that remain a bit of a mystery, she found herself without a traditional place to live. But instead of despairing, she saw potential where no one else did, in a small, forgotten smokehouse on the edge of her family's property. This wasn't a cozy, tiny home you see on TV. It was a rustic, windowless structure built for curing meat, not for human habitation. The walls were likely still stained and scented from years of smoke. It was dark, cramped, and offered little protection from the elements. But for Alara, it was a start. It was hers. With sheer determination, she began the slow process of transforming this space. She couldn't exactly knock down walls or add a second story, so she worked with what she had. She scrubbed the walls clean, found ways to seal the cracks against the wind and rain, and somehow managed to carve out a living area within those few square feet. Her bed was likely a simple cot or a pile of blankets, her kitchen a small burner, and her closet a few hooks on the wall. Think about the daily challenges. Where did she get water? How did she stay warm during freezing winters? Or cool during sweltering summers? Every single day was a testament to her ingenuity. She probably collected rainwater, relied on a small wood-burning stove for heat, and used the surrounding nature as her extended living room. She became a master of resourcefulness, a minimalist, long before it was a trendy lifestyle choice. What's truly fascinating is that she didn't just survive. She lived. Neighbors from the nearby town remember her as a fixture of the community. She was known for her kindness, her sharp wit, and her incredible resilience. She wasn't seen as an outcast, but as a unique and respected individual who had chosen a different path. She tended a small garden, perhaps kept a few chickens, and lived a life that was deeply connected to the land and the seasons. For over 6 decades, that tiny smokehouse was her entire world. She witnessed generations come and go, saw the world outside change dramatically through wars and technological revolutions, all from her humble abode. Her story isn't one of poverty, but one of incredible strength, independence, and the power of the human spirit to create a home in the most unlikely of places. She proved that the size of your house has nothing to do with the size of your life. Her legacy is a powerful reminder that home is more than just 4 walls and a roof. It's a place you create, a sanctuary you build with your own hands and heart, no matter the circumstances. It's about finding contentment and dignity in simplicity. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the past. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales you won't find anywhere else. See you next time. Have you ever flipped through an old family Bible? Those heavy, leather-bound books aren't just for scripture. They're often family archives, with births, deaths, and marriages meticulously recorded in the margins. But what if, nestled between a wedding announcement and a baby's first cry, you found something sinister? A curse. This is the story of the Pierce family and the chilling words written in their Bible. A curse that seemed to haunt them for generations. Our story begins in the 1880s with an Irish immigrant named John Pierce. He settled in America, worked hard, and started a family. Life was tough, but the Pierces were tougher. They passed down their family Bible, a treasured heirloom, from one generation to the next. For decades, it served its purpose, a silent witness to the family's journey. But in the 1940s, a young family member, let's call her Mary, made a startling discovery. While looking for a date of birth, Mary noticed some faint, spidery handwriting tucked away in a corner of the genealogy pages. It was different from the neat script used for the family records. It read, "May this family know no peace. May their days be filled with strife, and may their line end in sorrow. Chills ran down her spine. Who would write such a thing in a sacred book? And why? The family elders were hesitant to talk about it. Some dismissed it as a prank by a disgruntled relative long ago. Others whispered it was the work of a rival from the old country, someone John Pierce had wronged before he left Ireland. But as Mary dug deeper, a pattern began to emerge. The Pierce family history was unusually tragic. There were unexplained accidents, businesses that failed overnight, and a startling number of family members who died young or never had children. One story stood out. John Pierce's own brother, Daniel, had died in a bizarre farming accident just a year after John left for America. The family had always been told it was a tragic misfortune. But old letters suggested a bitter feud between the brothers over land and inheritance. Could Daniel's ghost, or someone acting on his behalf, have been the source of the curse? The timing was suspicious. The curse seemed to have been written shortly after John's first child was born in the New World. As the years went by, the curse became a dark family legend. Some members laughed it off, but others took it very seriously. One great-grandson, a man named Robert, became obsessed. In the 1980s, he spent years trying to break the curse. He consulted with historians, genealogists, and even paranormal investigators. He traveled to Ireland, trying to find the root of the feud between John and Daniel Pierce. He wanted to bring peace to his ancestors and his descendants. What Robert discovered was a tale of misunderstanding and heartbreak. The feud wasn't as simple as greed. It was a complex web of promises broken by poverty and desperation. Armed with this knowledge, Robert did something remarkable. He returned to the family Bible, and right below the dreadful curse, he wrote his own inscription. It said, "The past is forgiven. The debt is paid. May this family now know peace. May their days be filled with love, and may their line flourish in happiness." Did it work? It's hard to say for sure. But the family will tell you that after Robert's act of forgiveness, the string of bad luck seemed to break. The younger generations have thrived in a way their ancestors never could. The story of the Pierce family Bible is a powerful reminder that the words we leave behind have power, and that sometimes the only way to break a curse is with an act of forgiveness. What secrets do you think are hiding in your own family's history? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories.